So, hi, young millennial bankers, going to be bankers, already existing bankers. Welcome to this my YouTube channels. I have been getting overwhelming response, and moreover, I want to tell you that I have already launched my website BankTekSkills.com, wherein I have put in a lot of videos on Finacle working, sales and selling techniques, and various topics of banking. And soon I shall be adding a lot of topics into all that. So kindly join my website. It's a very nominal fee, just the cost that I incurred. So it is my endeavor to benefit all of you with whatever knowledge I have been having for 32 years as a banker and 11 years as a trainer. So I hope you will benefit from my website as well as this YouTube channel. Please ask your friends, share it with your friends, colleagues, ask them to subscribe to it and and give your comments, whatever feedback that you have, either on the website, any topic you want, or any clarifications you want. You can always connect me on my WhatsApp number, or you can just message me on WhatsApp, or you can just write me a mail also. I've been responding and I've been getting a lot of wonderful response from all of you. So I think and it's not only about Finacle, it's all about selling techniques and various other asset products, insurance, how to sell, how to use those selling techniques. I'll be adding lot more videos. So it's not just about Finacle, right? So again, bottom of my hearts, I want to thank each one of you, those who have subscribed to my website BankTekSkills.com. Link is given in the videos, the description also you can find from there. Click there, pay a certain very nominal fees on that, and you can have access to a lot of topics on Finacle, and I'll be adding more videos on Finacle very soon. So lot many videos are available how to work in the branches, because I've seen in the banking people are asked to sit in the branches and without any training, and they're asked to work on the Finacle that contains a lot of risk, financial risk and hazard risk, right? So make use of it. Do refer to your friends, your colleagues and everyone, right? I hope you will really this will find it very value addition to all of you. So those who are already working in the bank or have recently joined the bank, or they are already existingly working in the banks or planning to work, all these skills I'll be sharing with all of you: soft skills, selling and sales techniques that we have to adopt while we are interacting with the customers. Why should be different from others, right? All the topics on banking, everything I shall be covering here: digital banking and net banking, mobile banking, various asset products, loans, home loan, car loan, how we see, how we open their accounts, and what do we do in credit assessment, foreign exchange, everything you'll find it in a nutshell, right? So today we shall cover demand drafts. So just I'll just give you a very brief about, then you can see the actual videos on my website BankTekSkills.com. So do share it with your friends, colleagues, so that they can also have an advantage of it. So what we do in demand draft is, I think you all know, although with passage of time demand draft printing has gone down, because now we have a lot of online options available to customers: RTGS, NEFT, IMPS, right? So all these options are available. UPI, wherein a lot of many bank accounts can be linked with one virtual payment address also. So just demand draft, how it is made, what are the various features of it, just give you a brief into it, right? So we issue a demand draft or a banker check. Now banker check has become obsolete. Now we have more focus on drafts, right? So we can issue a mass draft, issue also bulk and single check also, single draft also. So I'll share the commands and everything. Then actual videos you can see on my website. Payment of demands, how payment has to be made by the paying office, right? Cancellation of demand draft, reversal of transactions in case draft is lost or draft is returned back by the customer, he does not need the money, and rectification of transaction, issue of duplicate demand draft. When a customer loses a demand draft either by the payee or the issuer of the draft, he reports to the branch or the bank that he's lost it, right? So we have to issue after marking the caution in the system, right? To mark receipt of non-payment advice for demand draft. Issue a duplicate draft, we can also issue a duplicate draft also. Revert back status, whether it is unpaid, paid or whatever, only then we can issue a demand draft, duplicate demand draft. Then we print the demand draft. We can print in a single queue, or we can print a mass printing also can also be done, right? So all the features I'll be sharing here, and we can go and learn all these things, right? So friends, how to issue a draft, right? So what is the command? HDDMI, right? So wherein you can add verifications. It is done by the verifying authority. First you have to add, right? Tran ID would be generated later on. Issuing date, value date, we can also validate the draft also. Right, print instrument. So later, you want bulk, or you want immediately, you can choose either of the radio buttons that you want to do. Generally it is done later, right, after all the drafts have been entered in the system. In case a customer says I want it immediately, we can immediately also print a draft, right? Then sole ID, wherever you are working in, DD account ID, from which DD account draft has to be made. So when we receive a request from the customer for making a draft, we debit his account and credit this demand draft account, right? So that we have to we can find from searcher, right? DD, just click on DD there and click on the searcher. You will find the account from where demand drafts are issued, right? So not all fields are mandatory, only which is required, right? So transaction type, it is transfer, right? Or if it is cash, right? So if it is bank induced, customer induced, so generally it is customer induced demand draft. Or even if a bank wants to issue a draft, they can also do a bank induced also. And the draft, if it is below 20,000 or 50,000, as per the case may be, cash can be received for issuing a draft also, right? Purchase account ID, from which account this draft is being made, right? CCI INR will be there, right? Then check date would be definitely check details. We have to enter that on which office this has to be issued, which branch it has to be issued, right? From it, of course, it is payable at par also, right? And we can do a value dating also. So generally, I have not seen practically people doing it, right? And fees, if it is to be collected in cash or customer induced, so again we can go for it. Suppose a customer brings in only 20,000 as a demand draft cash, and he has an account with us, so we can debit his fees. Demand draft fees is also levied as per the amount of draft being made, so we can recover those charges from here also, right? And validating can also be done, but generally practically I have not seen anyone, but this option is available here. So on the screen you can see demand draft mass issue, right? So you can add as many draft as you like as per the details from the DD account, and you can print in a later on also, or immediately also, in bulk also, right? So what is very important is fields which marked with red asterisk are mandatory, right? So like DD amount, what is the amount of the demand draft, drawn on, which city it is drawn, which center it is drawn. Pay is very important. Pay's name has to be written very carefully. If there's any mistake, either we'll have to cancel the draft and issue a fresh one, right? So this is all mandatory. All these fields are mandatory here, and we'll add additional details also, right? So this shows the detail of the first demand draft DD taken. Upon clicking the down arrow key on the right side, the application will take you to the next record, which will be in running serial number as displayed below. So you can enter number of demand drafts in the system in serial wise also. So DD amount has to be entered, DD amount in HC, right? So which currency it is, the actual amount of DD is in home currency, right? Drawn on, which city, a branch, which bank it is issued, pay's name has to be entered, and submit, right? So this is how you do it. So we issue a demand draft by choosing A as the sub option, right? If it is to be verified, then we choose V by the second officer. We can delete any data which has been entered not yet submitted, right? Or we can modify any details that has been entered wrongly. Then we have to post it. Then after that, verification shall be done. And R is for printing of DD if it is immediate, right? So if customer says I want to immediate draft, I want to have the draft immediately, so later or immediately we can choose either of the two, right? And inquiries also are available in this options. Once the demand draft entries are entered in the system, next phase that comes is fee collection. So if the approval is there in the sanction, suppose we have a business account wherein it has been given a 25% concession, or zero charges are to be obtained in any account, we can edit that. But for that, a permission should be available on the ground, right? So, or otherwise, if you want, if it is normal charges, just accept it, and system will deduct the 15 rupees or whatever the amount of draft is, commission of the draft is, that will be debited either from the account, right? Then we can also issue advice list for DD issues. Additional details, advice mode, right? All these has to be entered in the system. And we can also make payment of a demand draft, right? So the command is that for HDDMP. For issuing it was HDDMI. For making any payment of a draft, suppose it has been received in our office. Generally, we have centralized centers wherein these drafts are paid, right? So these are back offices. Suppose if it is there, if you're working in a bank wherein drafts are paid by the branch, not by the centralized office, so you can do that by entering this command HDDMP, right? Function you can see here, right? Pays date, payment date, so that will be the today's date by default. DD account ID, what is the account ID, right? And as soon as you click on this payment, if he wants a cash, if it is possible to give him a cash, otherwise transfer it to his own account, right? And instrument type, suppose if he wants a payment, right? So how this has to be done, a check has to be issued to him, or any RTGS, any has to be given, is entered here. So similarly, we can also issue a drafts in foreign currencies also, right? And make payment of drafts in foreign currencies. Of course, exchange rate would be applicable as per the system, right? It will be entered in the system, right? So now, in order to know whether the other branch is in the same data center or not in the background menu, right? So this is again for the data center. Once a common account is issued, a draft is issued, the following processes can be done by the only by the issuing branch. That is printing, marking DD as lost. The command is that for DD lost. Issue of duplicate demand draft, right? To DDD 3 times D, cancellation of draft DDC, right? Rectification of issue draft, any changes to be made. So we can access the common account also. So whatever I have explained for domestic demand drafts, also we can issue a foreign currency also demand drafts for any export or import payment, right? We can also rectify any transaction details by entering the command HDDR for rectification. The function rectify, right? The rectification type, do we want to change the increase the amount of DD issue, we want to decrease the amount of DD issue, right? Increase the amount of DD payment or decrease the amount of DD payment, we can do it here itself, right? So all these commands are available here. And when you'll go to my websites, all these have been done practically in the Finacle system. So you'll be benefited there a lot by subscribing to my BankTekSkills.com. That is again my website for that, of course, and YouTube also. To do share it with your friends and colleagues so that they can also be benefited. So when we are issuing a demand draft, right, duplicate demand draft, we have to confirm from the payee branch that it has not been paid. If it is paid, we cannot issue a duplicate demand draft, right? So again, that is also to be confirmed. Then we mark DD as lost in the system. So first we have to have the confirmation from the payee branch whether it is outstanding for payment or has it been paid. Only if it is outstanding for payment, only then we'll mark this demand draft as HDD lost in the system. Only then after we can make the draft duplicate demand draft, right? The marking of the demand draft as not paid, right? So for that is HDDNPADV is the menu option that has to be used, right? Not paid, HDDNP advice, not paid advice, ADV, right? So this, then we mark this not paid, and we mark HDD lost, right? So the command for issuing a duplicate demand draft is HDDD 3 times D, right? So first, having the confirmation that issuing a pay branch has not paid the draft, we mark it as HDD lost, right? Then after that, only then we can issue a demand draft, right? So DD number, same has to be entered here, right? DD issue date, when it was issued again, that this has to be entered. All these fields marked in red strict are mandatory. So it's very user friendly, and those who are working it must be aware, so that you can again review a lot of videos that have been uploaded in the system. That is my website, BankTekSkills.com. Again, I'm repeating, you'll have real time, you can say, value addition by watching those videos. And it's not about Finacle also, it's all about sales and selling techniques, because banking is not, nowadays it is all about sales and selling techniques other than operations part, right? And now if you want to see the status of the draft, whether it has been paid or marked as lost, or it has been duplicate has been issued, to seeing this, just to check the status of the demand draft, the command is HDDSM. You can note down, you can see the videos again also. Please make a note of it so that you can benefit. Now final stage is printing of the draft. That is, you can print a single draft, print all unprinted drafts at the end of the day or in the afternoon after a certain session. Printing of drafts by selection criteria, reprinting if it is there is some wrong printing. So we can do that. And for that, command is HDDPRNT. Remember this, HDDPRNT is the command. So as soon as you will enter the demand draft serial number, all the demand drafts will be printed accordingly. So if you want to print a single draft, HDDPRNT. If you want to issue, you want to print all the drafts that have been issued up to that time. So the command for that is HDDPALL, HDDPAL. Remember this. Keep making notes of these commands so that you can use it in the branches, or when you join the bank, you can use them. You can also do a batch printing, HDDBP. So there are three commands, HDDPRNT for single draft, then HDDPAL, PALL, then HDDBP. So this is printing of drafts by giving selection criteria. So you want to issue amount wise or some serial number wise, so that can be done also, right? And last part of this video is, if you want to see any inquiry, right, whether it has been paid, what is the amount, who was the payee, when the draft was printed, the command for that is HDDMI, right? So in this video we covered all the more about demand drafts, various commands that we can use it, how the process is done. Rest, I think, please kindly subscribe to my website, that is BankTekSkills.com, and link is available in the YouTube description also. Just pay a nominal amount. I think the advantages and the USPs of this program will be immense too, I can guarantee you that. And it's not about Finacle, it's all about sales and selling techniques, how you can sell, how you can increase your soft skills to increase your business by selling more to the customers, how you should be different from others, because there's a cutthroat competition, right? So, and do subscribe to my YouTube channels, and please refer it to your friends and colleagues, and press the bell icon, so whenever I'm issuing a draft, I'll be definitely uploading a lot of data, lot of videos on my website, that is BankTekSkills.com, as well as YouTube channels, so that you can make maximum use of it. And it is my personal endeavor that you all have come out with rise and shine, shining colors, right? You should excel in your life professionally as well as personally. So again, once again, guys, those who have already subscribed to my websites and YouTube channels, thanks from the bottom of my heart. So it's an endeavor to help all of you, right? So thank you so much. See you soon in the next video.